Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Helaine Ortmann, and I'm a volunteer on the Film Festival Committee. With me on Zoom to discuss The Man in the Basement is director Phillippe LeGuay. Monsieur, it is our pleasure to welcome you.
Thank you. Pleasure for me too.
First, I must say what a cautionary tale this film is. Conspiracy theories, the rise in anti-Semitism, Holocaust denial. Philippe, could you have imagined in 2021 when you made this film that it would become even more relevant, compelling, and timely now in 2024?
I'm afraid no one could imagine that this theme would be relevant, and especially in such a dramatic context.
Yes.
But the story was inspired by a true story, which is almost unbelievable.
Tell us more.
Yes, yes. I had this couple of friends, one who is a philosopher and one who is a costume designer, and I worked with this woman, and she's a very dear friend.
Mm-hmm.
And 22 years ago, as it is told in the film, they had two basements in their flat, and they decided to sell one of these basements, and the guy went over and seems okay, and they decided to sell the house, sell the basement, without knowing that they would put their finger in a kind of mad trapment, man. They realized who this guy was, and this guy was exactly as it is described in the film, a Holocaust denier. And in France, there is a law about who forbids anti-Semitic theories and of course anti-Semitic Holocaust denier. And what really was so peculiar with this story is that even if this man was under the law, he could have been sued very easily, but as the owner of this place he bought, there was nothing one could do, because the law of the real estate has nothing to do with the law of public opinion.
Philippe, what I wonder is, as you market and you shop your film to festivals around the world, and I know that you were recently, this past summer, even in Toronto, close by to us, what has been the reaction of people both in the Jewish and in the non-Jewish community to your film?
Well, the film is a story about intrusion. I thought it would open more to have a mixed couple.
Yes.
And especially here, the woman who is not Jewish seems almost more concerned and mad and threatened and upset and really becoming crazy of the presence of this man than her Jewish husband, who in a way rejects his background or doesn't want to fit with his origin.
Yes, I saw that progression in Helaine as well. I mean, that was just very well portrayed, the sort of extremes that she went to. The angrier she became, the more incensed she became at what was going on.
Also, one of the main issue of the script and of the film was the presence of the daughter, which is a teenager. She's in her 16. She's charming. I mean, she's a wonderful kid. She's open and alive and generous. And in a way, and she's heard about these crazy guys, you know, she's heard about Holocaust denier, and she just can't believe that these crazy guys can still be a threat. And in a way, she has a kind of romantic attitude towards him, like he's a poor bastard, he's got nothing. And she rejects him with lots of, at the beginning, she rejects him with a lot of power. I mean, she's very strong, but little by little, her convictions will be progressively be unbalanced by the presence of this guy. And for me, it's really like a kind of metaphor of what could happen to this new generation. How can you make up your mind? I mean, it's very difficult today.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think your film expertly portrays how vulnerable youth can be to the charms, the wiles, even the pathetic nature of someone such as Jacques Fonzique. He lures Justine in as he promotes his conspiracy theories. So sadly right now, we have the backdrop of the October 7 war. And
Of course.
I can't, and I'm certain that our viewers too are reflecting on such very complicated themes of victim and victimhood. Fonzique in your film insinuates and shape shifts himself to masquerade as the victim, and he manipulates Simone Sandberg to appear or almost become the villain at times, the one who is irrational, the brute. And I wonder if you could just comment on how and why you masterminded this in the film, this almost shift. Who's the victim and who is not?
Yeah, well, I'm really glad you mentioned this aspect because for me it's really the challenge for me is that in terms of cinema, it's always fascinating to see as a very basic situation. We discover then that during World War II, you know, in the 40s, the hunt for Jews by the Germans, by the Nazi, was really desperate. And all the Jews had to hide, whether in the country and sometimes in the basement. And we understand that Simon's uncle hide in the basement of this very building in the 40s during the occupation of the German. And now it's the guy who is the anti-Semite who's hiding in the basement. So this kind of reverse, and in a way, Fonzique plays the victim. And I even went that far that he's quoting Shylock, you know,
Yes.
the word of Shylock about if you hurt us, we bleed. What about my blood? It's good blood. It can bleed as any kind of blood. And I thought that was really the ultimate perversion for the anti-Semite to identify with the Jew. And that is the whole paradox, because it's so the Jew has been the victim throughout the ages, and in a kind of in a special context, Holocaust deniers seem to be the herald of truth.
Yes.
They seem to stand for truth against the guys who are manipulating the truth. So it's really a kind of endless trauma. I mean,
It
and
is.
yeah.
And I also found, just in thinking right now about what you're saying in terms of Simon, so not only did he become a victim because of Fonzique, but then even further, the situation was such that he even became a victim even through and by his family, that until there was that reconciliation at the end with mother, brother, daughter, and we hope wife, you know,
Yeah.
so that he even had to suffer that a second time in his own family because of these insane, bizarre circumstances.
Yes, it's true. Well, there are two positions in the family, in the Sandberg family. There's the position of the elder brother who is really seeking his origin, and he knows about this the story of the family, and Simon, in a way, takes it for granted. He doesn't want to go backwards. He has this word that he wants to go forward,
Yes.
and in a way, he doesn't. But by this attitude, he's also in a way not considering his roots and his origin, and this story will confront him very brutally to this identity he doesn't want to feel obligated to.
So what I wonder is this: could you share your thoughts about how you wanted, planned, or hoped the audience would react to the film's conclusion?
Well, there's a whole issue about the law and the inner desire of making justice as a man. In a way, it's the kind of conflict that you can find in every Western, you know. In the Western, you either you follow the law of the sheriff and the law of civilization in a way. Either you take your gun and make justice for yourself, and this alternative is brought to Simon, and in a way, during the whole film, he stands for the law, for he believes in civilization, he believes in values that that Fonzik, that the denier wants to destroy, which is democracy, and in a way, I wanted this this conclusion to at the end to burst. I wanted the inner instinct of violence, and to have the confrontation. I mean the physical confrontation. And I don't know if it's a disappointment for the audience, but I believe that whatever we feel, and probably in cinema, in the space of cinema, cinema deals with the instinct, and even if we believe in democracy and law, and to settle things with you know, ration and in the respect of the laws, that there is an inner force that drives us. And here, of course, daughter is the character that puts Simon off. I mean, he's really losing his temper and his nerves. This ending was always very strong in my perception, and of course, it's not the ending that took place in the real story.
No, the confrontation I thought was very, very powerful and almost cathartic for us as viewers.
Yes, because Fonzik managed to hide his hate for Jewish, and suddenly at the end, when he's confronted in this man-to-man fight, he says the words of hatred.
Yes.
And we believe that his so-called arguments, you know, his so-called search for truth is bullshit. That
Yes.
that
Yes.
Yeah,
There's nothing fake at the end. He's
yeah,
totally explicit and he is disclosed, he is exposed.
exactly. Like his mask, is torn out,
Yes,
and we need, I think, like in an Alien, like in Alien, when you face the beast, and I think we needed this conflict.
yes, absolutely. Philippe, I want to thank you on behalf of all of us for being so willing and so enthusiastic to join us in this conversation and to help us better understand what is really a fascinating and riveting and such a compelling film. So, merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous. Merci beaucoup.